You know that feeling when you wake up tired, even after a full night's sleep, when you push through your day running on empty, wondering where your energy went? Here's something most people don't know, that fatigue may actually be happening inside your cells. That's why I've been using anti-factor lipids powder from Nutritional Therapeutics for years. I don't go a day without it. It's based on over 20 years of research and a patented process called membrane lipid replacement, which actually repairs the damaged components of your cell membranes, restoring your cell's ability to produce energy the way they did when you were younger. Clinical studies show anti-factor can reduce fatigue by up to 40%. Just 1 or 2 scoops a day. Mix it in a smoothie like I do, sprinkle it on food, and you're giving your body the science of youthful energy. Anti-Factor Lipids Powder comes in 2 convenient sizes. For more information and to order, just call 800-982-9158, 800-982-9158, or go to antifactor.com. That's antifactor.com for Anti-Factor Lipids Powder. Welcome back to today's Intelligent Medicine Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Ronald Hoffman. This is your weekly opportunity to send questions or comments to us via our email, which is questions@drhoffman.net. And we got some very good discussion starters among questions today. Mm-hmm. So let's hear one of those, Leyla.
Okay, we've got an email from Tracy. I am needing help for my 25-year-old son who's been diagnosed with bipolar. He's tried a lot of the prescribed medications for the condition and recently gone off of them. He says he feels better off without them. He hated the side effects.
Well, let me just say that a popular film these days is The Odyssey. And so, you know, the story
I read the book.
Ulysses. Okay. Well, there's the new movie that, you know, the new production of The Odyssey. And in it is a beautiful, it's sort of a legend myth, you know, but it was committed to a narrative form by the poet Homer. And one of the episodes is about the sirens. And you know about the sirens, right? The sirens sing like a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful song. But it is so enchanting that it lures ships to their destruction on the treacherous rocks where the sirens inhabit. And so Ulysses or Odysseus, depending on if you're Greek or Roman, says he wants to hear the sirens sing. So he comes up with a strategy for how he can listen. Hang on, because we're going to get to bipolar in a minute. Okay.
Yeah.
So he says to his crew, put wax into your ears and tie me to the mast and let me hear the sirens sing. But no matter how I entreat you, and I will be, you know, in agony because I'll be tied to the mast and restrained. I will be, you know, screaming at you to steer the ship so I can hear the sirens. Just keep rowing and don't pay any attention to me. So that's a perfect metaphor for what this guy is experiencing. Is people who have bipolar often, it depends on whether they have the type of bipolar that's predominantly depression or whether they have manic episodes. The manic episodes for many are very exhilarating, and there are actually many very talented artists, and some of them have been my patients, and they have tremendous creativity when they are going through their manic phase until they crash and burn, because they can then just completely go off the deep end. They can engage in all kinds of crazy escapades, and then, you know, have just especially when they combine it with alcohol and sleeplessness, and, you know, they go to Las Vegas and lose all their money, or they'll have, like, you know, crazy affairs, or, you know, or even have delusions, you know, like they think they're Jesus Christ, you know, incarnate, you know, like delusions
of grandeur.
Great. Yeah. So it is understandable that he wants to, you know, hear the sirens sing, the siren song of this extraordinary mania. But, you know, obviously the medications that are used for bipolar have kind of a numbing effect. And
Yeah.
also lithium, which is a popular medication, has side
Yes.
effects. It can cause water retention. It can cause thyroid problems.
Hmm.
There are issues associated with taking lithium, although it is a mood stabilizer. So
Yeah.
many patients with bipolar disorder, they stop their meds. They do stop their meds,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then they get in trouble. We've seen that with some
We
patients.
have.
We said, like,
We
um,
have.
uh, they feel better sometimes with the natural therapy
Hmm.
and go off their meds, and
Hmm.
sometimes that doesn't work out. So,
Yeah.
so another story is that I actually had a medical colleague whose father
Hmm.
was one of the first Jewish students to be admitted to Harvard Medical School. Harvard Medical School and Yale Medical, all the big Ivy League medical schools, they had a quota for Jews in the
Oh.
1930s and 1940s.
Hmm.
But he was such a gifted student that they said, he was so fantastic. But he had to drop out initially because he suffered from bipolar disorder.
Oh.
And but I met him, and he
Hmm.
actually was medication free. And how he was able to get off medication is he said, I have an extremely regimented life. I have very regimented sleep time. I have very regimented diet. I exercise every day, and
Yeah.
so what
Okay.
this does is it has kind of a stabilizing effect. So the worst thing that can happen
Right.
for bipolar people is that they get crazy sleep, like sleep-wake cycles, circadian rhythm is off. They
Yeah.
eat a lot of sugar and junk, and
Yeah.
also their lifestyle. I mean, if you take drugs, drink
Hmm.
alcohol while you're doing it's like just a disaster.
It
So you
is.
have to be really, clean. Lifestyle can matter. And in fact,
Hmm.
there's now evidence that a ketogenic diet can help some patients with bipolar.
Yes. Yes. Because Tracy is very concerned because now that her son has stopped taking the meds, she could see the usual pattern of
Yeah,
problems coming along.
yeah.
So she was reaching out for advice. What can he do naturally for the conditions? They live in New Zealand,
Hmm.
and she says it's terribly hard to access help, especially natural help. So
Yeah.
I would love to hear your advice.
So,
Right, the
so
ketogenic diet.
yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah, ketogenic diet under supervision. Hey, look,
Hmm.
did you remember the series Homeland? What was the name of
Yes.
the agent who was always going off her meds?
Oh,
And
right, right, right. Claire Danes' part.
Claire
I forget her
Danes, yeah.
name.
And
Yeah, she
that
was
was a
going off the
that was
meds and
a portrayal of someone with bipolar disorder who
yeah.
would go off her meds because it would enable her to like go, like put all these pictures up on the wall and looking at the
Yes.
linkages, between the
Right.
different terrorists and, be
Hmm.
extremely creative. But then her relatives would go, are you taking your meds?
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, all right. So that being said, lifestyle matters. Uh,
Hmm.
Ketogenic diet holds some promise. I think more research needs to be done on that, and it should be done with medical supervision.
Yeah.
And I think there are more clinical trials looking at it where psychiatrists are opening up to that possibility. I think that every psychiatrist should make referrals to nutritionists, every
Absolutely.
single psychiatrist, because it matters tremendously.
And I think there's a website, Metabolic Mind, I think
Thank
with
you.
Dr. Christopher Palmer and Dr.
Yes,
Georgia Ede,
fantastic.
among others. But
Both of whom
these
have
are
been
books.
guests here on Intelligent
Yes.
Medicine. Yes,
Yes. Yes.
great.
So
Okay, so that's a resource. Now, the question is, when you got someone in throes of bipolar disorder, are they going to have the wherewithal to follow, a very careful diet?
exactly.
Maybe yes, maybe no. All right. Supplements that work. There's evidence that high dose fish oil may have a stabilizing effect,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm. I would definitely add in fish oil, magnesium. I would add in a B complex.
Certainly B vitamins. Hmm.
Yeah, B vitamins would be helpful. I imagine, Dr. Hoffman, what would you say in this case? Because we had the question on lithium recently. What about lithium orotate, the
Well,
supplement
okay.
rather than the drug?
Okay, so lithium orotate, and I was going to talk about this on my radio show this week, so you're stealing my thunder a little bit.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. Uh, what they've discovered, first of all, they look at people who are on this relatively high-dose lithium carbonate medication for bipolar disorder. And they got a lot of problems, but one thing they have is they have less Alzheimer's disease. Okay.
Okay.
So that is good, but they take such high doses of the lithium that they have a lot of side effects from the lithium. So it's not practical to say, oh, you're having a little memory loss, take lithium, and we trade one problem for another. We get the side effects of high-dose lithium. So what the researchers discovered is that lithium orotate, they tested a lot of different lithiums in an animal model, and they found that the one that was the most effective preventer of amyloid plaque was this thing that's available as an over-the-counter supplement, lo and behold, and at fairly low doses.
Wow.
So they proposed that they tested lithium carbonate and lithium chloride, I mean, all the different compounds of lithium, and they found that this kind of weird compound of lithium that's available over the counter works at much lower doses to prevent amyloid plaque. Okay. They did a study, and I looked at the study, and the study basically said, will lithium prevent Alzheimer's disease? So they took a bunch of patients with mild cognitive impairment, and they gave them lithium. And lo and behold, it didn't help. Now, I looked at the study, because the headline is lithium doesn't help, but what they used lithium carbonate, and they used like 100 to 300 milligrams of lithium carbonate. Normally somebody with bipolar takes 600 or 900 or 1200.
Right. The dose is too low. Okay.
It's low dose, but it's the wrong lithium, in my opinion. Yep. And they haven't tested lithium orotate in a long-term study. And that's what they need to do. That's next. So it does not invalidate lithium for prevention of Alzheimer's disease in patients with mild cognitive impairment.
Yeah.
So anyway, now, but it doesn't make sense for this person to take, if you can't say, oh, you're off your lithium, go to the health food store and get some lithium from the health food store. Yeah. That's not going to cut it for it may have some preventive effects on amyloid plaque, but it is not going to control bipolar symptoms.
True. Tracy, go and check out Metabolic Minds. It's either a .com or a .org to at least get started. Have your son check it out, since he's not wanting to take medication, or he's not going to be compliant with medication. If you're looking for natural ways to help support, that could be a place to start. Absolutely. Besides getting a full workup.
Have you seen The Odyssey yet? With
Not
Christopher
the movie,
Nolan,
but I read the book back. I
right.
read the book back in high school or college or something. I still have it on my bookshelf somewhere.
I read the book. I saw the Broadway musical.
Oh,
no. No, it's one of my favorite books. And, I really enjoyed the one with Brad Pitt, which was the Troy, the movie Troy. That was cool.
Oh, okay. All
right.
Yeah,
that was a cool movie.
Very good. Very good. Tracy, best of luck to your son. Keep in touch with us. Let us know what decisions he's making, if any. All right. Dr. Hoffman, I think now is a good time to hear from one of our sponsors.
Isn't it always a good time to hear from one of our sponsors?
Absolutely.
I find their messages are so enlightening.
Yep.
Good. All right, let's hear it. Ever walk into a room and forget why you're there? Lose your train of thought mid-sentence? Feel like your brain is running on fumes by 2 p.m? Try Kyolic Specialty Series Smart Mushrooms Plus. This isn't caffeine. It's not some jittery stimulant that crashes you an hour later. This is a clean, science-backed formula built around certified organic lion's mane mushrooms, clinically shown to support the nerve growth factor that actually helps your brain maintain and organize neurons. We're talking real foundational support for focus and mental clarity, and it doesn't stop there. It's combined with Kyolic Aged Garlic Extract, aged up to 20 months on organic California farms, plus Aronia Berry Extract, selenium, and vitamin B12 for long-term brain health and executive function. 2 capsules with a meal, once a day, vegan, non-GMO, no gluten, no dairy, no artificial anything. Kyolic Smart Mushrooms Plus from Wakanaga. Learn more about this and the entire Kyolic Mushrooms Plus line at kyolic.com. That's KYOLIC.com. Look for Kyolic at natural health stores nationwide and online. Thanks for listening. Thanks for supporting our sponsors. So they, of course, are what make intelligent medicine a free resource to you through their continued support and underwriting. So now back to our questions. What's next?
We've got an email from Anne. Hi, Dr. Hoffman and Leyla. You recently discussed the new study on glucosamine, which we went over in detail in recent podcasts.
Yep.
I'm wondering, well, what about chondroitin sulfate, as they are both glycosaminoglycans,
GAGs, abbreviation GAGs.
Yeah. Chondroitin is one of the ingredients in the collagen capsules, which I take to reduce wrinkles, hopefully. What are your thoughts on this? Well, chondroitin is supposed to be good for joint pain.
Yeah. I guess there is
health,
originally I thought that
accurately.
Originally I thought it was glucosamine that was the business end of that, but there's actually some bona fides to chondroitin sulfate. So I guess, I don't really believe that glucosamine is harmful or dangerous, in spite of the study that, casts some aspersions on it.
Mm-hmm.
So I keep taking my glucosamine, I combine it with chondroitin, and I don't know, I don't think I'm missing a beat from an IQ standpoint,
Right. So chondroitin, if one of the ingredients in her collagen capsules, a lot of people are taking collagen supplements. So, and remember to also make your homemade soups and stews and eat the skin on your chicken and all those other nice ways to get collagen too, in addition to your collagen supplement. Yeah.
I take a collagen supplement. I take glucosamine sulfate and glucosamine and chondroitin sulfate.
Yeah. So, Anne, there you go. Okay. And let's see here. We've got an interesting email. This is our final question.
Sure.
This is from Charlie. Hello, I believe I'm still suffering from the negative effects of COVID. Now, I keep seeing supplements from the wellness company called Ultimate Spike Detox.
Mm-hmm.
Can you offer any insight into if such a supplement would work, or would you offer something similar or better?
Yeah.
And is it possible that spike proteins are still in my body some 5 years after having had the illness?
I think there's a tenuous argument to be made for taking that product. And I'll tell you why. First of all, there's a notion that, all right, let's talk a little bit about the COVID vaccine, the mRNA vaccine. What it does is they've managed to synthesize the spike protein, which is kind of the docking station that enables the COVID virus, the SARS-CoV-2 virus, to dock on receptors that are in the nasal passages, the lung, and potentially throughout the body. Okay? So what they said is, here's the theory behind the spike protein is we're going to synthesize the spike protein. We've figured out it's RNA, and they're RNA viruses, so that's why it's an mRNA virus.
Yes.
So we're going to synthesize that sequence because we've managed to figure it out, and we're going to make, hundreds of millions of these spike protein mRNAs, and we're going to encapsulate them in a liposphere, and we're going to take it and inject it into your skin. And the idea is that it's going to elicit an immune reaction. Your immune system will sense the presence of the spike protein. But don't worry, because the spike protein is going to stay in your biceps or, where you got the shot.
Right.
And it's not going to travel around your body, and it's not going to... Now, a spike protein in itself, it can't infect you. It can't cause an infection.
Yeah.
But what it can cause is it can elicit an immune reaction. Now, if it elicits an immune reaction in your biceps locally, you'll get like a sore bump, like most of us took the vaccine, you got a sore arm, right? That's the reaction of the body, just like a mosquito bite. You're not reacting to, you have an immune reaction to whatever the mosquito saliva is a foreign protein that they injected into you. And that's
Yes.
transient. It goes away. Okay.
Hmm.
So, but it, so anyway, so that's the theory behind it. But uh, it's been argued plausibly that maybe some of that mRNA travels through your body. And, because injections may vary, and, maybe they hit a vein, and then the vein can draw some of that spike protein into your circulation, and it can travel to other parts of your body.
Yeah.
And that may be why we see such a lot of weird side effects with people
Yeah.
who get the COVID shot. I mean, let's face it, there's some pretty nasty side effects. And I think there's some revelations now about Tony Fauci, and he's had a congressional hearing this week where his diary revealed, and it was kind of downplayed, but he had a reaction to the COVID shot. Now, you could also have a reaction to the spike protein that you get when you get COVID, and then hence you get long COVID. And what that is, it's probably not that there's a live COVID virus in your body, although there have been a few cases of people with chronic COVID where they've actually cultured some COVID out of them. But it's probably a sustained immune reaction against the spike protein that may not have stayed in your arm or may have elicited an overreaction. And then you get an autoimmune cascade, and you can get any number of symptoms.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that's spike protein. So, but the question is, does the spike protein stay in the body? And this is, I think, a little bit more of a tenuous theory. The idea being that, okay, so in biology, what we learned in biology is that DNA goes to RNA, but RNA doesn't go back to DNA. It can't make DNA. So you can't, you can actually train your immune system to respond to it, but you can't create a body that has incorporated a spike protein into your own DNA so that you start becoming a factory for making spike protein.
Okay.
But there's some controversy about whether through something called reverse transcriptase, which is something that certain viruses are capable of, and perhaps in the body, there's a mechanism by which you can get a transformation of the RNA to DNA, and then your body essentially is becoming a spike protein factory, and like you've got a lot of spike protein, amplifying your spike protein. That's a theory that is, I think it's controversial. I don't completely discount it, but it tends to be more with the ultra zealous vaccine opponents who are really, really worried about this technology. I think this technology needs to be more carefully studied before they start applying it across a wide range of diseases.
Yeah.
But anyway, so already that's controversial.
Yes.
Are we all becoming spike protein factories, those of us who took the vaccine, and then the spike protein is multiplying in our bodies like, oh my God, I feel crappy today. It must be that COVID shot I got. But there's a million reasons why people feel crappy from, as they get older, and it could be the proximate cause is the vaccine that you got. And it could be the proximate cause is, 1,000 other things. So people who feel lousy see an ad on cable TV, which says, here's a spike protein detox. And they may be reading some of this literature about how dangerous the spike protein is. And they think, oh my God, I got spike protein in my body. I'm going to take something to detoxify. Well, first of all, even if it were so, I'm not sure how you get rid of spike protein. But what they offer is like something in a dropper bottle or in a capsule, I'm not sure which is mostly nattokinase. Now, we know that nattokinase is proteolytic.
Yes.
And so does it break up the spike protein? Anecdotally, some people say that they've had a vaccine reaction and they took nattokinase and they got better. But that's anecdotal because sometimes people just get better or they,
Exactly. It could be time did it or the nattokinase did it.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right.
Yeah. And so I'm not on board with that. And I think it's more appropriate if somebody feels really crappy to obtain a workup from you know, a doctor first and
Yes.
foremost, but maybe, you know, you
Yes.
want to see like a real detective, an integrative doctor who looks at people with troubling symptoms like fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome, or
Mm-hmm.
you know, Dr. Jacob Teitelbaum, who I'll ask him about this.
Yes.
Because I'm, you know,
Yes.
he's a regular contributor. He's written a book on post COVID syndrome, long COVID,
Yeah.
but also on vaccine reactions. And I'm going to ask him. I'm going to ask him point
Yeah.
blank. What does he think of that? Is that helpful? Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, I think he's done a deeper dive on that because he's really laser focused on the aftermath of COVID,
Right.
long COVID, and vaccine
Uh,
reactions. And he's,
right.
you know, I think he's seen a lot of patients who have those conditions, and you know, maybe he's tried out nattokinase.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Dr. Teitelbaum also a lot on chronic fatigue, on fibromyalgia. I know that some people blame those types of symptoms also on long COVID, or maybe they're related. Maybe it's being exacerbated by that. I don't know.
Do you know what
But
I discovered about nattokinase is kind of
hmm.
neat? Is that there's not a lot of natural sources of creatine.
Oh,
And, you know, I wrote an article about creatine this week, which I think you're going to get to edit tomorrow. Hasn't
okay.
hit your mailbox yet. But, uh, you know, I looked at natural sources of creatine. So the
Mm-hmm.
body naturally makes about 2 grams of creatine a day.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a drop off once you reach 65 or so. You don't
Mm-hmm.
make as much, as with many things. You know, there's a decline in the body's efficiency at absorbing the building blocks for it, which I guess are methionine and a couple of
Mm-hmm.
other amino acids. Um, so, uh, 2 grams per day. So I take externally 5 grams per day.
Uh-huh.
So another source of creatine is meat. Meat is rich in creatine. But
Yeah.
here's the problem. When you cook meat, it almost entirely disappears. So,
Oh.
so in order for you to get 5 grams of creatine, which is what I take in my shake in
Mm-hmm.
powder form, you'd have to eat 2 pounds of raw meat every day.
Oh, that's a lot of steak tartare. I don't know,
Yeah,
or carpaccio of beef. That's 2 pounds is a lot.
right. So, I mean, I guess you could, I don't know, that's like people on a raw meat diet,
No,
you know,
medium
so
rare is fine. That's about
yeah,
it. Medium rare,
maybe the Neanderthals before the advent of cooking, you know, they actually had pretty
maybe.
good levels of creatine.
Okay.
You know, as they were ripping steaming flesh from, you know, a
Mm-hmm.
freshly slaughtered mammoth, you know, or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Sure. All right. Well, Charlie, we hope you feel better. Hmm.
Yeah. But, you know,
Okay.
get a workup and don't just blame it on some trendy thing and look for kind of a,
Exactly.
you know, like I think it's just marketing. You know, it's
Yeah.
like, you know, it's like there's an unmet need and it's a mysterious condition.
Mm-hmm.
And I think people are reaching for something that is in my opinion, kind of an unlikely panacea.
Okay. Okay. And a reminder to all of you, we greatly appreciate your questions. That email is questions@drhoffman.net. That's questions@drhoffman.net. And follow the Intelligent Medicine podcast on your favorite podcast app. You're obviously doing it if you're listening to this podcast. You can also follow Dr. Hoffman on Facebook and X. I still call it Twitter, but X, for the latest health news and fully vetted product recommendations. But go to drhoffman.com where you can take advantage of having access to his fully vetted supplements in his full script dispensary. That is at drhoffmanstore.com, drhoffmanstore.com.
All right. Thanks, Leyla.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
okay, so stay cool, stay dry.
Yeah.
There's a big weather event headed our way in the
Exactly.
Northeast, and so check your basement and
That's it. I
batten,
am.
batten down the hatches.
Batten down the hatches.
All right.
Brain's clear. Yep. Okay. Oh,
Thanks,
my
folks, for
goodness.
joining us. I'm Dr.
Yes.
Ronald Hoffman. Take advantage of everything that you find at drhoffman.com. If you're already listening to this podcast, you're already an initiate. But make sure that you listen to the full range of podcasts that we have available there, as well as subscribe to our newsletter, where we write our own stuff.
Yeah.
In an era of a rapidly vanishing human-produced articles, we do it the old-fashioned way.
That's right. Yep.
All right, until next week, thanks very much, Leyla. I'm Dr. Ronald Hoffman, and this is the Intelligent Medicine Podcast. I want to thank you for listening to the Intelligent Medicine Podcast. Follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, or your favorite podcast app, and get new episodes automatically downloaded every weekday. And please give us a rating and review. It truly helps new people discover intelligent medicine. The Intelligent Medicine Podcast is for general informational purposes only and does not constitute the practice of medicine, nursing, or other professional healthcare services, including the giving of medical advice, and no doctor-patient relationship is formed. The use of information on this podcast or materials linked from this podcast is at the user's own risk. The content of this podcast is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Users should not disregard or delay in obtaining medical advice for any medical condition they may have, and should seek the assistance of their healthcare professionals for any such conditions. Finally, please visit drhoffman.com and discover everything intelligent medicine has to offer, including frequently updated, unbiased health news and fully vetted product and supplement recommendations.
This is Leyla Muden, registered dietitian nutritionist. I maintain a private practice and see patients regularly. If you require a nutrition consult with me but live out of town, there's no need to travel to New York City. I have telephone and telehealth consultations with clients from all over the country. Please visit drhoffman.com for more information. And to set up an appointment, call 212-779-1744. That's 212-779-1744. I look forward to being a collaborator in your healthcare.